babes and badasses. It is Ethany, and we are here at the TRA TV and podcast, and I have got one of my good friends, I can say that, I'm pretty sure I can say that, who I have been working with for, nearly 5 years we've known each other. And this person is so authentic, so beautiful, so kind, and has agreed to come on and talk about something that I feel is very, very important considering what has been happening in our community for a while. Before we get to the titillating topic, I want to introduce you to Andrew Barker, who is this lovely tarot angel. I really feel like that is just what you are, gorgeous. I mean, you're everything else, but you're also a tarot angel. Andrew is here to talk about authenticity and authentically connecting with angels. And that word angel has gone through a big old shake-up in our community. Andrew, welcome, and tell us a little bit about how you found angels and your tarot practice.
Hi. I think I found angels probably, oh wow, I don't even know how long it's been. It was 7 years ago when I found angels. And I actually found them through the Long Island medium.
That hair, honey, she got hair for days.
I freaking love her, and she's pretty much the only one that I really believe in, like on TV. Like I will watch everything, like I'm there for it. And she was talking about in her first book how every time you see 444, that's an angel number, and that there are always extra angels around you when you see it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I started seeing that number all the time, like all the time. It didn't matter where I was always seeing it. And even though I didn't know what I was doing, I would always picture myself in white light anytime I saw that number. And so then 444 opened the door for 1111, 888, 555, 111. And that's how I found Doreen Virtue. And up until that point, I had dabbled with tarot and dabbled with witchcraft like every rebellious teenager wants to do. And I was like, I liked it, but then I would get scared and then go back to the church. And then I had this push and pull kind of thing that happened, because then my mom would scare me and then I'd go back and then I'd be like, I don't like this. And then it was like a yo-yo effect. And I think when I found Doreen Virtue, I was like, wait, this is tarot cards and angels? Like, what is this?
What is this?
And so my first purchase, it was the Archangel Power Tarot, and I still have it, my very first deck, and the Everything Catholicism book, because I was going to a Catholic church at the time, just because I was curious. And the book did not last for me personally, but the tarot cards, as soon as I drew my first card, I was going through a breakup, and the card came up, and I remember the card. It was the Two of Gabriel, which is the Two of Wands. And in that card, there are two men holding hands on a beach. And it's in the additional meanings in the guidebook, it said gay relationships. And I was like, the first card I drew, I was like, okay. And then that's what kind of sent me along the way of reading for friends and family. And then a very special person bought me her certified angel card reader course, and I went at it.
You went at it. Here's the thing about, well, first of all, because we know each other quite well, I know that you also have this, you came from a place where religion was very, very in your space. Like for me growing up, it wasn't, but for you, it absolutely was. And one of the things that I feel Doreen was able to do in her time when she wasn't, not now, but in the past, she was able to bridge the gap for a lot of people and allow a lot of people to find a connection with more mysticism and more magic and with cartomancy and divine energies that are outside of the church for a lot, like hundreds of thousands of people. She was never my cup of tea. I've always been very, like, that's been my thing. I had her fairies deck, one of her very first ones, and I gave that to my sister. many, many moons ago when I was still in Australia. But I never worked with any of her stuff because I came from like hardcore witchcraft, right? So that was my entry point. But a lot of people, she was their entry point. So how do you feel about that? Like, what are your feelings about that? And now what are your feelings knowing that you have spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy in her groups and in her training? Where are you landing in this extremely volatile kind of like minefield in our community?
I think it's been really difficult. When the news first broke, I think it was February of 2017. I think no, it was actually 2016. No, 2017. 2017, February 2017, she announced her conversion, and we didn't know what that meant. Like, we knew she always talked about Jesus, so we were kind of okay with that. Like, I was like, okay, she talks about Jesus is cool, whatever. And it wasn't until things started kind of evolving, because when she first converted, it was, oh, this is fine, and this might be fine. Really do what you want to do. I'm not here to judge. And she very quickly went from a place of not judgment to like right there to a place of judgment. And it was very difficult for me because she was a figure for me that was like a mom, because my mom is not, I love my mom, but she's not supportive of me in my business or being gay or anything like that. So it was kind of like having someone who was like a mother figure, very maternal. And so it went from kind of 0 to 100 really fast for me. And I had to, it felt like in a matter of like weeks, get down and dirty about what I believe, and realize that she's a person, and what she taught is still real. Like, I have had tangible experiences that you cannot tell me are not real, because of what she's taught and because of the doors she opened to help people. It still is a very it still kind of aggravates me when people like kind of talk shit about her, because I'm like, if it wasn't for her, like, I wouldn't be where I am. So I wish that more people, even if they weren't, she wasn't their cup of tea, would be respectful of what she did for people, and not necessarily just bash her, 110%. Because I mean, I have videos on YouTube that I kind of go off about some stupid stuff that she has said and how she's kind of done a 180, but I honor what she did for me. And the courses that I took, I spent a lot of money, like a lot, and they're still valid, and I did the work. Like, I did the work. So I don't think the courses are invalid. I still have every single card deck she ever made, every single one of them, even the cringeworthy Jesus deck. And it's just, I honor what she did, and I honor the kind of the what she was for other people, and I've let her go. And I just wish other people would kind of just do the same. Just, she doesn't care. Let her, you know what I mean? Let her be over there.
It's interesting when anyone triggers anyone in a community, what happens. And there was definitely a lot of triggering. And for you, not only was this triggering from a mentorship place, it must have brought up a lot of the motherhood wounds that you had too, because it's like, now this person that you thought you found safe haven with has kind of joined the same kind of banner waving that some of the stuff that you've heard from your own maternal mother. And I absolutely want to, first of all, give you a big like internet hug and say that I feel like what you're doing is a real, and what you have done and been able to sit in the space, and it feels authentic, like you can feel it, is so beautiful. Because I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was Nico said on YouTube when everything first broke, it's really interesting to see how people react when their gurus or when some of their leaders or whatever, public figures, shift. And when they move, it's like, this has to be about your work. This has to be about your connection with the deck or the cards or the angels or the work. Your work, not them, not what they are doing. But then also, I mean, like, totally get it. But I also understand from a perspective of this consumer side of, I have definitely had to move on decks, and this is not drawing virtues to someone else, who will not be named, where they have said some things extremely racist and very politically charging on public platforms. And I've looked at the decks and gone, no, I can't anymore. Like, I can't support this person if they're going to bash everyone that I love. But that was just like removing a set of decks out of my life. That's a very easy thing to do when I haven't done much work with that person one-on-one. And it's also when you, as you know, like when you get a deck and then the creator says something, it can shift your perspective. So I think the big thing here, and what you're saying, what I'm trying to say too, is however you're feeling is right for you. Whatever you're going through, however you want to process it is fine, but allow other people to process it in their way too. Like, don't expect everyone's going to do the same thing as you and feel the same way, and just respect everybody's path, including Doreen's path from going, now she's a student and she's learning something new and she's doing whatever she feels is right. And we've got to like you said, the community, I feel like, has got to let her go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right.
So this really leads us to what we're here to talk about, which is having an authentic connection with angels. And tell me a little bit about what you feel, how this is now getting us to face some of that like relationship we have with the angelic realms.
I think that when Doreen was preaching about angels and talking about angels, and she I think one of the reasons people were so turned off by her is because of the way she spoke about angels being very like airy fairy and like everything is fine, just you have to be love and light all the time. And I think that while that was right for her, I think there was a disconnect with a lot of people, because most people are not love and light all the time. Like, it's impossible. And I think for me, when I started working with angels, I thought that I had to be love and light all the time. You've known me for a long time. You know I curse a lot.
Me too.
Like, I just don't think about it. It's just something that I do. Like, it's just part of who I am. And I felt like I had to be someone different when I was on social media or talking about my business than who I really was. And it wasn't being inauthentic. It was just being who I thought I had to be for the angels to like actually listen to me. And I feel like now that Doreen has left, there is finally some breathing room for people to experiment with angels and to be authentic and, not have to speak like the King James Bible to get an angel to help you. And that's what authentic connection is. It's asking for help in a way that is for you. Like, some people, they want to say, please help me. Some people are like, what the fuck is this? And then both of those things are the same thing. It's asking for help in the same way. And the angels would much rather you be who you really are than try to appease them, because they don't care. They know who the real you is anyway.
I love that. And what an interesting concept of taking away a very public figurehead in a way, to then now it's a little bit more of a level playing field. And that's true. Like, people, and that's just the way that humanity is. We flock to people who have authority, and she did have a lot of authority, but now it's like, oh, the authority now comes back to you, the individual. So I have a really interesting question, because I have my own experience with angels. Yes, as a witch, I have had very, very clear experiences with angels. How do you know when it's an angelic energy versus a different guide or a different positive entity that is coming into play?
I think it all really comes down to what you're doing and the intention behind what you're doing. So if I set the intention to work with a specific angel, then I'm going to know that angel is going to come forward. But I think it also goes, if you're really working on those psychic muscles and flexing that third eye and flexing, that crown chakra, you're going to be able to distinguish if a guide comes in. Because to me, angels feel lighter. Angels feel very peaceful. And their energy is kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say is a guide is more dense. to me. Like a guide is, it's not in a bad way. It's just a guide is more like, okay, you're right here and I know you're right here. Angels kind of take up the whole room to me. And I think the more that you are working with your angels in whatever way is authentic to you, the more you're going to be able to know their presence. But the one angel that you will always know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is Archangel Michael. You will feel like changes in the air pressure, like you will feel his presence in a room. And that's oftentimes the one that I recommend people start working with first, because if you can feel that, then you'll be able to feel everything else. But I think it just goes to intention, to what you're doing and who you're bringing in.
He's my favorite. I do have to say that Michael is my absolute favorite. I work with that archangel a lot. So I agree. Like when you start feeling about, when you're talking about energy density, big energies like that, angelic energies, especially the archangels, definitely take up the room. Like it's like there is no mistaking. It's like it's like when you're working with a goddess or a god. These are not small energies; they are huge energies. And one of the things that I love about working with cartomancy, so working with tarot decks and oracle decks and any form of divination, is it speaks in a symbolic language that allows you to make connections with your psychic muscles, so that when you see a certain symbol or you feel a certain symbol and then it starts coming more on the energetic realms, you're like, oh, right, that's what that is. So what are some of your favorite ways of working authentically with angels?
So I don't want to say my favorite archangel, but she's my favorite, is Archangel Hanael. And she is the angel of psychic insights, clairvoyance. She is also the angel of moon cycles and women's health issues. And she is the first angel that I started working with. And I will never forget when I was doing my very first card reading, I think well, actually, no, my boyfriend was actually there. And we were sitting there and I was just kind of letting her guide me, because I didn't know what I was really, like I knew what I was doing, but sometimes you just like, fuck it, let's see if it works. And I just remember her giving me very specific instructions about using the energy, the color of her energy, and just working with that and letting it just like be inside of like my spirit and just radiating outwards. And it's a technique that I still use to this day with every single reading that I do. And to me, that was my authentic way of working with her, because it was kind of like a merger. Like she was working through me and I was allowing guidance to come through her, from her through me. And then there are certain other angels like Archangel Michael, where the way I work with him is a little bit different, because his energy is so big and because he is so in demand, even though they can help us all, at the same time. I tend to be a little bit more, kind of, I guess, proper with Archangel Michael, just because I respect him so much. But I think for me, it's just, I've learned to just say, help me. And to me, that's the most authentic thing in the world, is just saying, help me. Like, I need help with this, instead of going off on my own and making a mess. And I think that that's where people need to get to with angels, is realizing that just help me is the easiest way to connect with angels, because they're waiting for you to ask. They're like right there, like perched and ready.
That's a really interesting thing too, energetically. Even if angels aren't your jam, your peanut butter, whatever, even sitting in a space of saying, help me, I'm open for assistance, is a beautiful act of trust and surrender, because we are often like, I'm like doing my thing and I'm pushing forward, I'm in control, I'm in the driver's seat, and like I'm a control freak. So I'm definitely a lot of that. But then even just going like, okay, I've reached my threshold. I actually now need help from seen and unseen forces that are positive and in my best interests and want to help me, is really just saying like, first of all, I trust the universe. I trust my guides. I trust my angels. I trust my ancestors. I trust my magic. And also going, I realize there is a better way of doing this, and maybe I don't know everything. Just maybe.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. And it like you said, it really is a beautiful thing to just sit there and just say, okay, guys, it's time for you to step in. I need some help.
Yeah, because it's almost like, I always think of it like this too. With your guides, and this is also what's really great about getting a reading, there are many, many paths to your destination. And anytime you try to step in and or reflect, step back, get good guidance, get a reading, ask for help, you're basically saying, is there an easier or better way of doing this? It's like working smarter versus working harder. You're probably still going to get to the same destination, boo, but an easier way is in front of you if you only A, ask for it, and B, look for it and then act on it.
Yeah.
So on that thread, what are some of the ways that you have felt and that people may feel in their body angelic presences wanting to connect with them?
I think for me, when I was, and things that everybody can look up, and this is what I tell people um, when they're wanting to like develop their psychic ability. So I think that plays a really big part in like putting your antennas up, because if the radio is off, you're not going to get anything. And I think being on the lookout for little things that are important to you. Like for me, my spirit animal is a peacock. The one time, because I remember Gabby Bernstein was talking about asking for a sign, and she told a really long story about how she asked for a sign and how she didn't see it, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere. And for me, I was like, okay, I've never asked for a sign, so I'm going to ask the angels and the universe for a sign. And I was like, okay, I want to see a peacock. And that next day, they were everywhere. They were on my Instagram. They were on TV. They were on everything that you could possibly imagine. T-shirts. Someone had a peacock tattoo.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, what is this? And that's my sign that I'm on the right path. So one, a feeling that's not in your body, but just that you can do is ask your angels for a specific sign. And when you see that, that's also clairvoyance. Even though you're seeing it with your physical eyes, that's clairvoyance. And the more you see that and recognize that, the more that you're going to see little, you can start seeing energy around people. You can start seeing the colors of the angels in the peripherals. And I think in my body, when I know that angels are near, is I kind of get a little lightheaded, and I kind of just feel. Sorry about that, car was just really, really loud. I started feeling very, very light and very grounded at the same time. Like I just felt like I was taken care of. And a lot of times I feel warmth in my hands, because I'm normally a very like hot person anyway, but it's something different. It's an energy, and it's like a tingling sensation. So if you're ever in a situation where you don't know like what's going on or what to do, take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and pay attention to like the energy around you, because I guarantee you're going to feel one of those feelings. And that's when you know an angel's near you, because you're going to feel grounded and flying like a million miles in the air at the same time.
I love, love, love that. That is something that I do quite a bit. Is I call them like signposts that you're like on when you're on a trek and you're like hiking and you see a little arrow, those little check-ins, whether it's a song lyric or whatever it may be. It's like, yeah, we got you. We're on the same line as you. So I adore that. So my next question is, what are some of the suggestions you would have with people who want to work more with their angels? You said ask for help, and you said like definitely looking for a sign, but what else is out there for people?
Everything. There are books. And to be completely honest, Doreen Virtue's books are still A1 in connecting with angels, like A1. Learn about the
Until
angels.
you write your own book, that is.
Well, that might be coming a little bit, a little bit sooner than people might think. But yes, because my book's going to be like amazing. But for right now, for the time being, Doreen Virtue's books are very good for figuring out what angel you want to connect with, because each angel does different things. So if you are, or they can all help with the same thing, but they have different specialties. So if you are looking to manifest abundance, then you're going to want Archangel Ariel. And if you're looking for protection, if you're looking for conflict resolution, you're going to want Michael or Raguel. Like, there are so many things that they can help you with. You have to know, what you want help with, because that's the biggest thing. If you don't know what you want help with, then you're kind of shooting off in all directions. But finding what you want help with, and not even if you don't have access to Doreen Virtue's books, just going online and typing in angels that help with blah, and you're gonna find those angels that want to work with you, and you'll find a host of information about that particular angel. I think that's one of the biggest things. And then I also think that just and this is something that I tried doing, and then I haven't really tried doing it. It was really cool. Is to there's a rainbow visualization. So if you see a rainbow and you just kind of sit there and you stare at the rainbow in your mind, and you pay attention to what color is getting bigger and brighter, then you look and see angels with this color, and that's the angel that wants to work with you too. So that's kind of a cute way to.
Oh, that's really lovely. I love that. So one of the things so I got introduced to angels while working with my first formal tarot teacher and psychic development mentor. I did every course I could on her stuff. The lady is still slinging cards in Australia. And then when I spent 3 years getting my Aura-Soma certification. And in the Aura-Soma practice, every bottle has an energy and they are connected to tarot, although it is changing, and this is why you can't get this anymore. I don't know what is going on there. The thing that with Aura-Soma is every year you have to pay money to get kind of like certified with them. And I was like, honey, I spent like $20,000 getting certified with you. I'm not giving you money every year. So, but they changed when Vicky Wall passed away, who was the creator of Aura-Soma, it all changed. So, but getting back on track, they all have angels. So every bottle has an angel. And this was how I really started to work with them in a really deep way. I wanted to show you Haniel because you were like talking about, but this is how I went to church. I'm going to show you Haniel because I really wanted to. I was like, this is, so she's actually iridescent. The color is magenta and this like beautiful pearlized blue. But I went to church when I was very, very young. So I was very familiar with the idea of angels. But this was how I actually started to properly like work with them, was through Gail and then through the Aura-Soma. So yes, you can be a witch and work with the angels. They're not something that is exclusive to anybody. And I think that's what's beautiful about them. So
Yes.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about, so we got a couple of things that I absolutely want you to share. So first of all, you have got a deck, Angels and F-Bombs Oracle. How did this come about? And P.S., love this idea.
So it was actually after the Doreen Gate, I guess we can call it. And so it wasn't until probably, it was way after, because it was probably about 6 months ago. I had the urge to create something. I knew that I was doing something, that I had to do something. And I knew that with her kind of, my biggest thing was with her leaving, there, like you said, there's kind of a little bit of a gap. And I was like, I want to share how I connect with angels. And so I remember, I was like, what can I do? And I remember designing the card back, which I'm going to show you. So I remember saying, I know what I want it to look like, and this was it. And I remember just asking angels, and Archangel Michael was the first angel that came through.
Of course.
Very first one. Like, he was just like bursting through the door, and I was like, I want to make this deck because I want people to know that they can ask for help in whatever way feels right for them. And I was like, I need help with this. And so Archangel Michael was the very first angel that came through, like I said, and he, in his prayer, made me freaking die. It was so funny. I gotta find it. I should have had it out already. Oh, there it is. So basically what it looks like, there's a heart side, which is kind of the sweet side, and then there's an F-bomb side. So whichever side you feel, drawn to that in that moment, is the side that you can use, or you can use both. So the prayer for Archangel Michael is, Archangel Michael, please shield me in your protective purple light and keep me safe. And the F-bomb side is, Archangel Michael, get rid of other people's bullshit as well as my own and keep it away from me.
I can tell, like, working with that deck, I'll be like the bullshit side every single time.
and that's exactly why I wanted to make this, because it was one of those things where, and it's been something that's been kind of on my heart making this, is we're humans and we experience a range of emotions every single day. And to me, there are some times where, as much as I love the love and light and the fluffy decks, I don't need that. There are times when I need a deck that's going to give it to me exactly how it is and help me say how it is and not be ashamed to do that. And I think more people need permission to be able to do that, because people are not asking for help because they don't feel like they're going to get it because they do this or they do that or they smoke or they drink or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And so this deck is kind of my way of, I actually had someone tell me that it gave them permission to ask their angels for help. And I had one person, the first post that I made, I think with this deck, they were like, I was really feeling like the F-bomb side of this card yesterday, but now I'm feeling like the heart side. And I was like, that's why I'm doing this. Because there are so many times where if you're feeling like shit, you don't need to draw a card with a fairy telling you to be creative. Like, you need something that's going to say, look, if you're feeling like shit, tell your angels you feel like shit. Because they already know. Don't try to hide it from them. And that's what the love behind this deck is. I finished 45 cards in like 2 days. And I was like, there was so much power behind this. And like, I just know that's, you know what I mean? That's, it's just my baby. And that's
I hope that you're, sorry.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I'm just like sitting here like going, First of all, I feel like that I want to read your book whenever it's done. And if it's not called Angels and F-Bombs, I'm going to kill you, because I think that is just amazing. I want that deck. The other thing that is amazing too is, like, say, I'm all about telling people to fuck off with love. Like, sometimes the thing is too, it can be both of those things. It can be respectfully asking for love, but saying, like, I'm fucking hurting. Like, I am sore. I am wounded. I am tired. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. And you could also, like, I mean, you've got yours. You could also turn it, like, have a little ritual during the day where when you feel like the bomb has gone off and you can now be in love, you go back to your altar and you turn it upright. And now you're like, my heart it's unblocked. It's removed. The obstacle's gone. I can now sit in this more loving space. I am obsessed, Andrew. And my money magic manifestation cards came like that too. It was like that. And the Bad Bitches Tarot came like, it was just like, and my muses came like, boom. So you were onto a winner chicken dinner when it happens that quickly. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. It was a labor of love. Every time I look at it, I can't believe it.
Yay! I'm so excited for you. And I absolutely want to get my grubby little hands all over that so I can work with the angels more and work with it with my Aurosoma stuff as well.
Oh,
and, it'd be great. And tell us a little bit about this free resource you have created about this. Everyone loves a good cheat sheet, so tell us a little bit about it.
So it is basically going to be, you're going to see my logo on the little hearts and F-bombs. And it's going to be a cheat sheet for the angels. So if you need help with abundance, you're going to have the angel, what you need help with, and the crystal for that angel. And it's going to be very quick and dirty. Like, you can pull it up, you can make it a PDF, put it on your phone, call it good, and just say, what do I need help with? Oh, okay, Archangel Michael, amethyst, protection, obsidian, got it. And it's going to be something that I wish I would have had when I started, instead of like having to scan books forever. But yeah, it's going to be the angel, what you need help with, or what that angel can help you with, and then the crystal that you can bring in to kind of make it all work together. And it's just that simple. And because working with angels is that simple. That's all it is.
I love it. And I love cheat sheets and resources that are like, I wish I had this when I started out, because you're absolutely right. Like having to thumb through like massive books, and I love me my books, can be very difficult when you just need something very quickly.
No.
So thank you so much for creating that with everyone. And all of the links for this, the Angels and F-Bombs Oracle, the cheat sheet, will be in the description if you're watching this on the YouTubes, and if you're listening to this podcast on my blog or over on iTunes, it'll be over at ethne.com in the podcast section. And Andrew, the other thing is, tell us a little bit about the work you're doing now and how people can, if they love you, and why wouldn't they, how they can work with you and what kind of offerings you are providing our community at the moment.
Yeah, so right now I'm still reading tarot. I haven't. The deck's just taken up a lot of my time, but I'm still reading tarot. I'm at Oracle cards. I have an Inner Temple workshop coming up that you can actually snag a. If you get the Inner Temple reading on my website, which is a beautiful reading that came to me on the train of all places, you get a ticket to the workshop. But I really, if you want to hang out with me on Instagram, I'm Tarot with Andrew. My website is tarotangel444.com. I am pretty much everywhere. I'm on Instagram every single day, so that's your best bet to get me.
Thank you so much. I love that not only are you open to talking about some of the difficult things that have been going on for many of us in the community. I've had to hold space for a lot of people because, as I mentioned before, I never took any of her courses, but I've been holding space for quite a few people, and being really authentic and not shying away from it and making it accessible. I'm obsessed with your deck. I think it's going to be such a great way for people to feel represented, because I think that's what you hit the nail on the head with. It's because I don't look like this, or because I don't act like that, or because I swear or whatever, or smoke or drink or whatever. Maybe they feel like they don't deserve help. And I feel like some of that is very old school religious conditioning, but that is another conversation. Thank you so much. I have always loved your work. I've always thought you have been incredibly authentic with your angelic connections and what you do. Is there anything else with the parting gifts, parting words of advice for anyone about working with the angelic realms?
I think just the biggest thing is like I said, asking for help, knowing that you're worthy of help no matter what, and knowing that your angels want to help you. They do. Like, you're not inconveniencing them. They're not having to leave someone else to go to you. They want to help you. So no matter what's going on in your life right now, if you're watching this or listening to this, know that your angels are already there waiting for you to ask. And that's all you have to do. And then you can let them take it from there. You don't have to do everything yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining us today. And you can find all the links, as I mentioned before, in the description. And thank you to everyone who is watching and listening for this episode. And we'll see you next time. Bye.